The late night wars used to refer to the high-stakes ratings competition between the shows, but a new reality has emerged. The ratings have dropped over the years, and this week has shown us the stakes are now higher than ever in this new battle. The very survival of the format may be in question, as is the power an administration has over the airwaves and what is said on them. In the first night after Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, the late-night host all responded mostly with sarcastic deference to the president.
We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show. If you felt a little off these past couple of days, it's probably because our great father has not been home.
I'm going to cover the president's trip to the UK just like I normally would. President Trump just wrapped up his 3-day trip to the UK, and he
looked incredibly handsome.
If ABC thinks that this is going to satisfy the regime, they are woefully naive. And clearly, they've never read the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Kimmel.
President Trump is now indicating that he and his administration are not done targeting the late-night shows.
If they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It would be up to Brendan Carr.
Nancy Cordes joins us now from the White House. And Nancy, we just heard the president suggest the network should have their licenses pulled for negative coverage of him. How far is the White House looking to take this?
I think it depends, Nicole, on whether this is hyperbole from the president or whether he is really intent on going after hosts and potentially even journalists who he believes don't cover him fairly or who criticize him. There has been some Republican pushback, some conservative pushback, but not a ton. Still, we have heard from some people who typically stand alongside the president, like Ted Cruz of Texas, the senator on his podcast today, said that essentially the way that the FCC chair, David Carr, went about warning Disney and ABC affiliates that perhaps some major deals could be off the table if they didn't do something about Kimmel. He likened that to sort of a mob shakedown. And he warned that, if there was a Democratic president in the Oval Office in the future, this would open the door for them to take conservatives off of the air that they don't like. So the question is the president simply getting this off his chest, or does he really plan, as he said, to pull the licenses of networks or over individuals on those networks that he doesn't like, something that has never happened before?
Yeah, and I want to drill down further on this because, as you just referenced earlier this week, after Jimmy Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said in an interview, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." And some perceive that as a thinly veiled threat against local stations. Now he's saying this.
I don't think this is the last shoe to drop. This is a massive shift that's taking place in the media ecosystem, and I think the consequences are going to continue to flow. We're going to continue to hold these broadcasters accountable to the public interest, and if broadcasters don't like that, simple solution, they can turn their license into the FCC. There's other things that we can do with it.
And we also want to play that sound you referenced from Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who criticized Carr's initial comments, likening it to a scene out of the movie Goodfellas. Listen.
I like Brendan Carr. He's a good guy. He's the chairman of the FCC. I work closely with him. But what he said there is dangerous as hell. He threatens explicitly, we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take him off the air so ABC cannot broadcast anymore. He says, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
I mean, that's pretty strong pushback from a key conservative ally of the president, Nancy. Could this have any impact?
It could, but I think it depends on whether there are more conservatives who sort of rally to Cruz's position. You've got a lot of Republicans in Congress saying, well, I regret the way that Carr went about this, but I didn't like what Jimmy Kimmel had to say about supporters of Charlie Kirk. I didn't like what he has said about President Trump for years. And essentially, it was Disney's decision at the end of the day. Nobody forced them to pull Kimmel off the air. We don't know how long this suspension of the show is going to last. So they made the case that, it's still Disney in control at the end of the day of Kimmel's fate.
Nancy Cordes, thank you so much from the White House.